What's the word, guys? Today I'm going to be coming at you with a different type of video. I'm going to be talking about different lolcows in the MMA community. I don't know if you guys are familiar with this term. A lolcow is a content creator or a member of a space or community that people just like to just make memes on, and they like meme themselves unintentionally. Like Wings of Redemption in the Call of Duty community. Let's see who else. There's so many on the internet. They're super niche as well. I don't even know who's like prevalent right now. But I used to laugh at Wings of Redemption back in the day. There's like different accounts that are dedicated to like poking fun at these guys as well. The entire culture around locals gets kind of base, and they often push them into further holes of degeneracy if they're locals because they're degenerates or whatever they are. The local community will make them more of that. Ben's gym videos. This is how you become a lolcow, is you lash out at your trolls. You get trolls for being genuine and trying to like accomplish a goal or try to be serious in pursuit of a mission. And then you lash out at your trolls. And instead of them going away after you just don't give them the inch that they can take and make into a mile, they use your hatred in response to their hatred as ammunition to justify their initial assaults. And then they were calling that Ben's gym video guy after he came out and started like tripping on people. They started calling him Ben Dejo, and like because his name is Ben and he was a Spanish fellow, and they were like just roasting him about like he liked to eat hot dogs and Fantas after the gym. So he became a lolcow. The MMA community has fighters and other media personalities who are like the same. So I want to talk about a few of those guys. I just felt like a definition at the very beginning of the video was warranted. So that's what a lolcow is. Let's get right into the video. Before we get into this, please like, comment, and subscribe on the video and turn on notifications too. All right, so first we have the man Dana White. Whenever I see Dana White, it's always some funny stuff that people have to say about him, and it used to get under my skin. But this is the thing about Dana: people grill him on the fighter pay stuff, and I have another video that I'm gonna make too about fighter pay. I think that deserves, like, it's an issue. It's a real problem. It's like an actual problem in the community, and it needs to be addressed. These guys should probably be getting more money. And I used to give Dana White a leg to stand on because it does seem like the pay differential between boxing and MMA isn't as stark. So you're not seeing like these top heavy cards where the guys in the main events are making hundreds, tens of millions of dollars, and the guys who open are making scraps, barely 1,000, maybe like a couple thousand if they're lucky after taxes and paying everybody. I mean, it does kind of go like that for a lot of these guys, but I used to give him an excuse and be like, well, I mean, there's so many fighters. But I mean, the thing about it, the reality is we've seen so many videos of Dana White gambling and losing more money than he pays to the first 5 pairs of fighters on these Apex fight nights, like A and B side, in like single hands. So it's like, I'm not really rushing to his defense as far as that goes anymore. I still vehemently believe, though, if you don't like Dana White like that, don't watch the UFC. Nobody's willing to do it, but I mean, people do like to stick around and just roast him. And I mean, it's kind of funny to laugh. Some of the things that they say are kind of funny. And I mean, some of it he does deserve. With like the gambling stuff is like we're petitioning for higher fighter pay, the antitrust lawsuit. I mean, I'm glad that he didn't like fight tooth and nail to make sure that those guys didn't get their money because they deserved it. The Nelk boys, Steve will do it. He's giving them $200,000 Maybachs and just money outright, more than these prelim fighters are making in entire years, even if they have winning records in the UFC. He's talking about power slap is bigger than every sport on social media, and that's funny, bro. I'm not sure if the analytics actually do reflect that, but man, isn't it funny for him to actually say that without like cracking a smile or anything? Power slap is the biggest sport on the face of the earth. Like, oh, brother. Fans like to get on his head whenever an event is lackluster. But it's funny because it's a double-edged sword. Because people like to roast Dana White whenever the event sucks. But whenever it's good, who do they thank? Nobody. They're just like, man, this was a really good UFC event that just happened out of complete happenstance. And Dana White had nothing to do with it. I haven't seen a tweet or a post on Instagram or anything saying thank you, Dana, in so long. Like, I mean, I feel like credit where credit is due. Even if he doesn't have, like, the most direct role currently as like an active member of the UFC board, I mean, he's still doing something. Dana White's contender series hasn't been changed to like Mick Maynard's or Sean Shelby's contender series, and those have been some of the best events of the entire year. These last 8 weeks that we've been watching, we're streaming for the contender series. There's only going to be one more after this week, so I mean, tune into the last stream, I guess. I'm not sure if I'll get this up before Tuesday, but this guy has so many different like moments too. We call him Dana Pink. We Photoshop him. We don't need to Photoshop him to call him Dana Pink because he just gets pink whenever he gets really passionate about stuff, whenever he gets grilled. But Dana Black, They remove the color scale from his white skin and they make it a darker pigment and he's Dana Black. That's funny. The baby oil stuff, I'm personally not too into that joke. I don't think that that was a very good one, but I mean, I thought it was more so funny whenever he acknowledged it. Like whenever he would see people saying oil up in the chat and he would be like, "What are you guys talking about? Oiling up? You guys want me to oil up?" Like, what? Bro, what? Yeah, Dana White is a lolcow, bro. Like people, this is the bald man. And I mean, I call him the bald man all the time, and I think it's funny to poke fun at Dana. He's the guy who put this all together at the end of the day. So, I mean, I also give him my respect too, just as much as I call him bald. I'm bald too now, though. So, I mean, we're fraternal brothers. Like, look at life. Look at how life is caused this full circle moment for me and Dana White. We're both bald. Speaking of bald men, Joe Rogan, this guy has infinite sound bites from his time being a UFC commentator. He talks about people being marauders. People forget, man. Joe Rogan was the dude who said people forget, man, like initially. Whenever people say people forget, man, I had to think about who even said that after a certain point of just hearing everyone in this space say people forget, man. That's Joe Rogan, dude. Joe Rogan is also the guy who says, "Oh, that's tight. Oh, that's in," whenever people are getting choked. Or he's like, "Oh, look at the swelling on that lead leg. Oh, look at the redness on that lead leg. Oh, he's getting his leg chopped up. Oh, wow, look at the redness on that body." Or like, "Do you guys know who started throwing leg kicks on his podcast?" And then it'll be like a rhetorical question. He'll ask a question knowing the answer. People will be like, "I don't know. That's a good question, Joe. Who is it?" And you'll be like, "Actually, I think it was Benson Henderson." If people actually do give like a concrete answer of a fighter they thought started throwing leg kicks and it's not Benson Henderson, this guy just talks about Benson Henderson and leg kicks whenever he can. This is old news though, but it's still funny because I mean he's become a lolcow out of it. Just recently, his most egregious MMA take that I've heard was that MMA should be held on a basketball court and that it should be like unlimited. I'm not sure if he said unlimited rounds, but he said that like the refs should never stand up fighters. They should fight on a basketball court, and there should be no like ref stands people up whenever there's a lull in action because that's not a real fight. And in real fights, they take place out in open spaces. So that's what we should do. MMA should be done on a basketball court. Like, bro. There's another bald man. These takes that he has, paired with his unfunny stand-up, make him a laughing stock amongst many in the community. Whether he deserves it or not, man, I mean, it's at least funny to laugh at. The irony of it. The irony of him trying to be funny and not being funny on stage. Joe Rogan's comedy, if you've never seen it, it's literally just him, like, doing women voices, bro. And then just, like, getting loud and shouting. It's not funny, bro. And he's amassed, like, such a group of glazers that, like, they've actually convinced him that he is, like, the king of comedy. Because they just want placements and they want to be on his podcast and stuff. He just got a bunch of cronies, basically. It's pretty funny, dude. Joe Rogan is like a hardcore MMA fan from like 2016, and he still has that mentality even though the sport has evolved. On his podcast, he's a pseudo-intellectual, and in the MMA space, he's like a fake hardcore, dude. He doesn't really want to see MMA get done on a basketball court. Like, this is the type of dude, Joe Rogan, to tell you that you're a casual for thinking that Hamza Chimaev versus Dricus du Plessis was a boring fight. And it's like, bro, I feel like he's fallen out of touch with what goes on because he refuses to do events that aren't the USA, and he just hasn't been on the panel a lot recently. Like, UFC 320 was his first time commentating a UFC event in, like, months. So, I mean, I feel like he's kind of fallen out of touch with what's going on in the sport. He wants to act like he still knows, and he's a good friend of Dana White, so he's not allowed to ever speak bad on the UFC so he doesn't, like, compromise that relationship. So what you get is just this guy who just says stuff about fighting. He just says a bunch of stuff about it. But I mean, I enjoy the memes where there are memes. People forget, man. This guy is a marauder. He's gonna live forever. Ooh, look at the swelling on that lead leg. This is our first fighter here who's a lolcow. Michael Chandler. See you at the top! His over-the-top pressers after he wins. All two of his wins in the UFC were followed by the most dramatic post-fights ever. He's like overly positive too on the internet. It almost seems like this guy is like a robot. Like if you were to like cause enough damage to his face and like open it up, there would be like a panel that would like retract. His face would start opening like Drake in the Sprite commercial. This guy's like a cyborg. He's a cybernetic human. Who can forget? Conor McGregor, come back and fight me. This guy literally spent years of his life and of his career just torching it, waiting for Conor McGregor. And with the fight, it's a whole year away pretty much. Maybe like, what is that now? June. That's 8 months away now. 8 months and some change. He's willing to wait that long to fight Conor McGregor, and it's probably never even gonna happen because Conor McGregor just doesn't even want to fight anymore. Even with the promise of the White House card happening next year, like we're not gonna see Conor McGregor fight Michael Chandler. And Michael Chandler will wait as long as he has to in order to get that fight because he knows it pays. But dude, we're gonna be talking about like 4 years now, 3 years where he just hasn't fought as much as he probably should have. And I mean, fighting more ruins stock for Michael Chandler so that it's harder to sell the McGregor fight as like a fight with actual ranked implications. Because, dude, if Michael Chandler kept fighting in the UFC, there's a good chance that in the last few years he wouldn't even have a number by his name and he would just be getting beat by unranked people at this point. Chris Duncan beats Michael Chandler in my opinion. But, dude, it's funny how he talks like he is like this like Terminator robot. Whenever he does get in fights with guys like Dustin Poirier, like Justin Gaethje, he cheats real bad. He's a really dirty fighter too. He was fish hooking Dustin. And Dustin doesn't like him too. He acts really like buddy-buddy with fighters who actually hate his guts. Gaethje wasn't really a fan of Michael Chandler either, it seems like. But whenever they do meet up with each other, I just saw that they were golfing together. And this man, Michael Chandler, is like taking selfies with Gaethje and stuff. Like, this guy's a meme because he talks like real positive and he's like, we're going to get in there, we're going to do our thing and promises violence. And he does bring violence. And that's like the meme about him is that like he's a really high-octane fighter in the cage. Like, instead of just taking, like, a straight path to victory, he'll get himself in danger just so he can do something explosive and athletic for no reason. And that's the meme here. He loses every fight. That's another meme here. And, I mean, more power to him, dude. The adopted African children stuff, like Hatman. I mean, he's a W dad, too. But a large meme surrounding Michael Chandler is him talking about, like, adopting other black fighters. Like, Terrence McKinney asked if Michael Chandler could adopt him. That's funny. I want to get adopted by Michael Chandler. Dude, it's been hard, bro. The job market sucks right now, bro. Like, Michael Chandler, come adopt me. Like, I'll adopt me, Michael Chandler. You have to adopt someone, Michael Chandler. Adopt me if you can. Grant Dawson is next. This guy has the most forgettable performances. The only one that I really remember, other than just like him wrestling a lot and winning a decision, is this fight against Bobby Green whenever he just got absolutely colded in the first round. So funny. King Green walked out to Ski Yee by Sexy Red, and then he just knocked this man out cold. And it was just such a well-placed left hand. Grant Dawson since then has bounced back, and he's made signature the Grant Dawson masterclass. Whenever you win perfectly just by controlling and doing just enough to not get stood up, but just sniff wrestling for 15 minutes, that's a Grant Dawson masterclass. I think the term was coined by Bedtime MMA. Shout out my boy. But I mean, like, this guy he's literally trademarked an entire method of winning a fight. The Grant Dawson masterclass. Like, I will always refer to grappling heavy decision wins as Grant Dawson masterclasses because of this man. And that is a widespread meme across the net. Something else I think is funny is that this dude is always talking about how his girl has a donkey booty or like a really fat butt at the end of in his post-fight like Octagon interviews. It's so funny. He's always talking about how big his girl's butt is. I think he's actually married this woman at this point. But at the very start, Grant Dawson was owning people in the Apex, and then he would get on the mic and be like, "My girl's got such a big butt." It's like, hey, bro, that's my boy. You my type of dude for real. Like, shout out, I tip my hat to Grant Dawson. This man is ranked number 14. I mean, I feel like he doesn't really get the respect that he deserves. Nobody's talking about, yo, Grant Dawson versus this guy for a higher ranking. They're talking about dudes outside of the rankings who should be fighting with Grant Dawson to, like, maybe get ranked. But, I mean, Grant Dawson, he do what he do. So, it's not like that's, like, a guaranteed in any universe. Like, you're going to challenge Grant Dawson and get his number, dude. Like, hell no. Largely watching his fights are something to do. I think he's a pretty fun and entertaining fighter, personally. Even though he can be a little bit corny and his fights are not really the most fun to watch, Grant Dawson is a staple of the lightweight division. Ian Machado Garry, and granted, I'm not going to get to every single lolcow. Like, I mean, I've only selected a handful of fighters here. You guys can tell me who else you think deserves the title of lolcow in the comments. But, dude, we got BBL Garry. Do you remember the rollout of the MVP fight where MVP made a song about Ian Garry during like the Metro Boomin Drake beef, and he made BBL Garry instead of BBL Drizzy, and he walked out to BBL Garry? That was so funny. And then this guy's the only reason why I know what a wag is because of his girlfriend or his wife. I'm not even sure, man. Me wife. I'm not sure, bro. His wife is his husband. Dude wishes he was black. There's videos of him talking about like, yo, if I was black, I'd be so swaggy. I'd have so much swag and drip if I was black, man. Oh, dude, if I was black. The Colby Covington beef where this man turned off his Instagram comments and then just spouted drivel about the most cringe call out that I've ever seen. Where he's like, you'll do what you so. Then he was like in a hot tub, bro. Like, bro, Ian Garry is comedy, bro. I've always thought this man was funny. Cause like there's like a lack of like, he's missing some social cues, man. He's definitely missing some social cues to be able to speak the way that he does, to be as confident in his abilities, and to be as deluded in some of his takes as well. This man has the notion that like he didn't lose the Shavkat fight, bro. And I mean, to be fair, this dude has outworked Shavkat about like 5 times over at this point. So if you want to ask me who's a more successful welterweight, Rakhmonov or Ian Garry, I mean, Ian Garry, Shavkat's win over Ian Garry is aging so well because of how active and successful Ian Garry has been post losing the fight to him. But I mean, dude, it's almost like Ian Garry didn't really lose anything in losing the fight to Shavkat just because he's gotten everything back and then some with his activities. So I think he's legit. This is one of like, I rate him really highly. As far as all of like that new class of all the different welterweights who came up at the same time, Ian Garry is probably the best. He doesn't have any natural physical gifts. He doesn't have great speed. I mean, I guess he's pretty fast. He doesn't have insane power. His durability isn't the highest, but he just has really good skills. He has a nice skill set, and that's what wins him fights. I appreciate it a lot. Watching his performances, they're always master classes in their own right. Maybe not Grant Dawson master classes, but an Ian Garry master class is getting close to being another term that we coined. Something else that I think is funny is his precarious clinch stance. This man, like, he flares out his hips. He's doing like the splits, man, whenever he's like pressing people up against the cage in the clinch. I just have to put a photo up there, man. Like, ayo. Ayo. But like, yeah, that's Ian Garry, bruh. Love him or hate him, this man is funny. And he's real funny. This guy is another just, I mean, he was a brutal laughingstock before he actually became champion. So now there's not really much that we can say about this dude. Belal Muhammad, he's crying there after getting poked in the eye by Leon. To be fair, though, that was a really bad eye poke. But people talked about, oh, this man, he's coping and he was looking for a way out. Because, I mean, he was actually getting kind of touched pretty badly on the feet in that fight against Leon Edwards. I remember how disappointed I was whenever I watched this fight happen and the eye poke happened and they didn't immediately rematch Leon and Belal Muhammad. I was like, dude, what? Like, Belal Muhammad just got completely skipped over. And I think that's the reason why he cried is because he knew that he was going to get shafted in whatever course each of their careers took after this. And he was right, dude. But he came out, he said he had Canelo hands. He's a better boxer than what you'd think he would be, but he doesn't have no Canelo hands, man. And people were saying that like Canelo was boxing like Belal Muhammad against Terrence Crawford. That was the joke that they were making, and that's real funny. I mean, he became champion though. Another bedtime meme, or I'm not sure if this is a guru meme. This guy be talking about I'm better than GSP everywhere. That's another thing I should have put here. He said he's better than GSP. I'm better than GSP in the striking, the grappling, the wrestling. And he's got that like Chicago accent. This guy's a Chicago driller. I always make jokes about how he be posted on O Block, but he do. And you got to check in with Belal if you're going to slide through Chicago, or else you're going to get switched down with the Glock Dookie. He's a decisionator, so that's where it all started, with Remember the Name being his fighter nickname, and nobody remembers it at the very beginning because he was just winning every fight by decision. But to be fair, this guy TKO'd Sean Brady, which, I mean, Sean Brady is a fighter that people are talking about would beat JDM now, which I like. I think there's at least one guy in my comment sections and in my chat talking about Sean Brady would beat JDM. I don't agree, but I mean, Belal Muhammad, he knocked out Sean Brady. Like, he knocked him out cold. This guy TKOs people, but whenever I knocked him out, they don't freaking move. That's literally Belal Muhammad. Belal Muhammad is the hardest hitting 170, and that's the reason why he's earned the mantle of having Canelo hands. I thought, even though he's going to get match made to fight with Ian Machado Garry in Qatar, he should have fought Usman, because apparently he made Kamaru Usman cry on his podcast. And like, that clip has never been released to the public. It hasn't even been leaked. Nobody can find it anywhere on the internet. I was trying to see that fight, because if that were true, then Usman needs to spin, bro, or else he went out sad. This is going to be the last edition of this list as well. We have Israel Adesanya. He'd be talking about some Frozen like Elsa. He cried at the DDP press conference, which, I mean, like, DDP, man, if he would have made Hamzat cry, that would have been funny, even if he lost the way he did. He lost to Strickland after the first DDP fight fell through. He just kind of coasted and was like, oh yeah, I'm going to knock this guy out, no problem. And then he just ended up losing to Strickland, which, I mean, like, dude, that made him a meme, like a real deal meme, because he was in there just, like, being corny and talking about this is my 8 Mile moment. I remember that was what he said in the Pereira fight. He had the dog collar on. He had the dog collar on, like that one. I think it was a Jet Li movie, bro. Talking about this is my 8 Mile moment. Like, bro, stop it. This guy's a jab leg kick merchant. He was a very active champion. I do actually really miss his title reign for the reason of we at least got to watch him fight every so often. And there was the risk that he was losing these fights. I mean, not really in retrospect, but I mean, whenever he was fighting in a division where a top ranked middleweight was Marvin Vettori, we thought that there would be a chance that the belt would change hands every single time that he fought. And he took that risk like 4 times a year. So I tip my hat to him for the fact that he was so active as champion. He did have really boring title fights, though. We roast him for the China stuff and for the dog stuff. Israel Adesanya, there's never been another fighter like him. There'll never be another fighter like him. So, I mean, he's at least carved out his place in history as far as, like, the UFC goes. He'll never be replaced. And, I mean, there's an argument to be made that he is the middleweight GOAT. But it's hard to say so because, I mean, there's so many people who have beaten him at this point and just so many more who have maybe not more accomplished as far as title defenses went. But, I mean, you got Dricus du Plessis in the running as well there. He's had a lot of overlap with the title defenses and the run of Israel Adesanya. And he's beaten Israel Adesanya and a guy who beat Israel Adesanya. So it's like, but I mean, MMA fighter for MMA fighter resume, Alex Pereira is, I think, better than Israel Adesanya. Because he actually did get his belt back. I mean, I guess Israel Adesanya did too. But let's see if Alex Pereira defends it against Olberg or whoever else they have him fight next. But yeah, that's going to be my pick for this list, you guys. Let me know if there are any other fighters that you would have put here on this Lolcows list. Please do like, comment, and subscribe if you made it to this point in the video. I'm going to catch you fellas in the next one. Peace out.